We are risking it all. The greatest anime ever made. I'll continuously, non-stop, just watch videos about it. This is called The Beauty and Horror of Hunter x Hunter. If we get spoiled by the manga, it is what it is. If we get... I don't know. I'll be honest. There's times where I'm going through shorts, and I'm watching shorts, and I nearly get spoiled. I do know, because I've seen it in a short, that the next arc, or one of the arcs, is called, like, The Dark Continent or something, which sounds badass. Can somebody get that author a back transplant? Can someone watching just give him your back? That's not how it works. Anyway, really, really intrigued by this. So shout out to the YouTuber Mugen. This is called The Beauty and Horror of Hunter x Hunter. And before this, just to get ourselves ready, I had to react to the Jairu flashback or story or whatever you call it. I miss Hunter x Hunter. Let me know if you want me to react to the old version of it. I still haven't watched any of it. We might do that. Yeah, no, it was that. It was exactly that.
In 1851, a book titled Moby Dick was published by Herman Melville.
It was all
the
a
book
troll.
follows the premise of a sailor called Ishmael, who ends up boarding a ship manned by a captain whose sole reason for living is to find and kill the great whale that ate his leg. The infamous Captain Ahab disregards any other priorities or characters asking for help, just so he can have his desire for revenge.
I did not
sated.
expect this.
Against the better judgment of the reader, Ishmael joins this vengeful captain and embarks on an adventure and an experience he won't soon forget.
Sorry if I spoiled Moby Dick for you. I guess... No, there is a dick joke in there somewhere.
Same can't be said for the rest of the crew. As you continue reading this book, you do start to realize that most, if not all of them, will ever see home again.
I've never read Moby Dick.
You might be thinking, what does this have to do with the video, and why did that get so dark? Well, those are the same mixture of feelings I had when I first started reading Hunter x Hunter. My first inclination of this came when I took a glance at the volumes of the series before beginning my read. I noticed that the covers evolved slowly from these idyllic and carefree images of our characters with cute monsters to a tone of violence, murder, and childlike depictions of adult themes. As I continued chapter by chapter, I started to become addicted to this tonal whiplash, and in doing so began to see its gorgeous charm and murderous atmosphere.
Oh, you leave Palm alone. She's
I
lovely.
want to delve into how these visuals best represent what I feel Hunter x Hunter is trying to convey with its story, the duality of its world and characters that Togashi created, and ultimately how this story reflects the future of his series. So sit down and grab a drink as I tell you about the beauty and horror of Hunter x Hunter.
Okay, I'm hooked. I really hope he doesn't spoil the manga.
The world of Hunter x Hunter is one of dualities. Duality is a term meaning two, but can be used to compare and contrast two different things. Think of a coin with two sides, a world of dark and light. By looking at one side, we see the differences to the other. To evoke how...
Bro, you know what? I might do a whole video just going through Hunter x Hunter manga.
A world of dark and light.
Is this Hunter x Hunter? Is this in the manga? That is insane. Oh my god, bro. Man, I wish I could draw. I literally respect drawings so much more because I'm so bad at drawing. You do not understand. I genuinely struggle to draw like, if you asked me to draw a face, bro, I had a debuff growing up at drawing. And everybody else, you're looking around you, and everyone else is like drawing manga art on their desks. Because I can't even, and I'm there, I'm just there, I can't draw a stick figure. Everyone else is like drawing their whole desk and like doing beautiful stuff. Bro, I was just trash at art. Absolute garbanzo at it. So I respect this even more.
By looking at one side, we see the differences to the other. To evoke how the panels and art of Togashi's story had this effect of both beauty and horror, I need to tell you my personal experiences and mentality when reading through the very first arc. When I started, I was very much taken aback by how, honestly, get ready, boring the first chapter felt to me. A young boy who is strong sets out to find his father. When I say boring, I don't mean that Gon's motivation for his journey isn't compelling, but it felt like a premise I had seen in many stories already.
Fair enough.
And even after Gon meets the side characters of Leorio and Kurapika, I felt like I was treading through
It's
a really
Leorio!
familiar formula. And I did expect more from such a highly praised series. My interest did, however, begin to pick up when I realized that the Hunter tests weren't just feats of strength, but wit. This felt new, and it goes against what I had been expecting from a shonen. It was chapters and chapters and chapters later until a full-on battle or scuffle of fists actually took place. And other encounters based on different requirements were fascinating.
I really need to watch the old version.
Tower phase of the exams. It wasn't the formula of beat this character and win, but instead defeat
Bro,
this character
Kurapika
by
looks so
grabbing the
much
ball,
better
stealing
in the
their number,
90s
or cooking
version.
the best meal. Togashi creates a closed system with limitations to make fights more complex and interesting. It was really starting to grab me. And then something happened. Something changed.
Swing!
There was this feeling, like in a horror film where everything may seem extremely ordinary and appear as they should without a second thought. But it's not until something shifts in the air, something is out of place.
That's what happens when you introduce
No longer is.
a clown masochist slash
kill
pedophile.
his opponent in one of the exams, despite aligning with our protagonist, who is morally good. But he exhibited killing intent and an arrogance of power over his foe that would be akin to the antagonist, ripping out the heart of his opponent without a second thought. By this point in the story, Death and Blood was not really a surprise or shock. At first to me, it seemed just really out of context for how violent it was for a shonen manga. And that's all I thought. Until chapter 27. During this phase of the Hunter's exam, each entrant must find their target who has a badge. Gon gets unlucky and is assigned to catch the badge of the mysterious and murderous Hisoka. Hisoka, up until this point, had showcased a natural skill for killing, engaging with any opponent who challenges him, and even allowing some to live so that he might see if they one day become stronger foes. After practicing on how to swipe Hisoka's badge, Gon decides to stalk him until he finds someone and is distracted enough so Gon can make his move. Hisoka encounters Leorio and Kurapika, but lets them live in exchange for a badge. As they leave, Gon in hiding watches, as Hisoka just stands there a while, pondering at how all the people he had met might get stronger, tougher, and more powerful than he.
Then it gets weird.
It's here that something happens. Hisoka feels something. An itch, a rush, a hunger for blood.
Nani? Oh, that is so good. Look at that.
To see such a furiously sketched illustration that felt so raw and eerie, it could have been...
Bro, you know season 4 of AOT? Yeah, they drew everyone like this. I'm such a hater.
One of the black paintings of Goya. It just fucked me up. This panel of Hisoka evoking his hunger to kill shows us another side of Hunter x Hunter's characters, but also the world our story is based in. And
I see what you mean,
that this tonal whiplash would occur again and again and again.
They probably spammed like Palm. They probably I can only imagine how creepy and weird Palm was in the manga.
The world Togashi created is loosely adapted from our own. Hunter x Hunter's locations our characters visit are quasi-fictional. The city of York New, for example, comes from the iconic New York. Purely fictional locations are named and based on its visual appearance, like Gon's home of Whale Island. This is again an example of dualities. One is an idyllic island where people have minimal problems and enjoy their quaint, simple lives as they speak to visitors from the outside world. The other is a bustling city full of corruption, crime, and opportunities to make money any way you want. And if you're from New York, let me know how that's going. This tone is ramped up, especially
True.
during the York New arc, which is around the same time the covers of the volumes change to feature a more mature tone, with the storylines involving Crollo and
The
Kurapika.
covers are so...
Hunter
Does
Hunter
anyone
finds a
else
way
find
to
the
pure
covers
tone with the
creepy?
story-
I can't explain. Look at Crollo there. That's so creepy. He looks like an old... It looks like old medieval art.
lines involving
Not all of them, actually. Not all of them, but just Crollo. Just
Crollo
looks bloody
and
creepy
Kurapika.
there.
Hunter Hunter
Look at that, he
finds
looks like
way
a
to
girl as
interject
well.
duality in its fictional settings by showcasing the nature of each one. The one that stood out to me the most was seeing the animals of the Zoldyck family. Monsters in Hunter x Hunter at this point are cute, but can also be deadly. The way in which they are drawn is still that of a less detailed representation, like the fox bear that attacked Gon when he was 9.
Sick.
Even monsters that literally kill some of the entrants in the Hunter exam are deadly to non-important characters, and thus are cartoonish. But here, when the gang go to retrieve Killua from his family's castle, Gon catches the eye of one of the large guard dogs
Mike.
that roam the estate.
Mike. Mike?
Walking
Mike.
in shadow, half shrouded in darkness, looming over Gon. Its calm eyes
Oh, that
give
is so
no hint
cool.
as to its intention upon seeing him. Is it hungry? Does it want to play? Does it wish to kill? There is no intention you can glean compared to the fox bear from Gon's childhood. Tagashi has utilized
Oh, that
an
is
entire
such a good
page for this
drawing.
interaction. This shows us what kind of wildlife roam this world, and they aren't just evil or
Yeah, you could tell that was an insanely important moment. I guess they tried doing that in the manga, in the anime as much, but it did kind of hit in the anime, I'm not gonna lie. I can imagine that hitting harder in the manga, though.
action. This shows us what kind of wildlife roam this world, and they aren't just evil or good. Tagashi
It's such a
explores this even
weird-looking
more
dog.
in the
Wolf.
Chimera Ant arc. The arc that most fans, after hearing, let out an audible, oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't do that again.
Representing
Don't do that
nature
again.
as a beautiful thing at the arc's start, when Gon and Killua help Kite and other hunters in documenting all these different natural species. It's fun and joyful. The hunters are making a difference for the sake of discovery. It's like David Attenborough discovering all these new forms of life so we can better understand, appreciate, and love nature. But when the hunters learn of a rogue chimera ant, like a coin, the side flips to that of a threat. Nature is no longer something
she looks
to
so much
discover, but something to
weirder in
stop
the manga.
before it kills and ends everything we know. And like the wolf of the Zoldyck estate, some of the chimera ants do not seem to be the real horror. This is in part to Tagashi's ability to world build and create an asterisk to every place and creature he creates. But let's take a look at the side of his world that is based on ours, and the nature that inhabit it: humans. Like I said before, the locales of Hunter x Hunter appear as a reflection to our world. If we take the map and alter this continent, it is in fact my home of Australia. Even the names of countries are reminiscent of their real-world counterparts. Japan, the Federation of Ochima, and the God-blessed United States of Sahara. This isn't out of lack of imagination, mind you. In fact, it's done on purpose for our characters and audience to
It's just
see
easier.
the real world.
Yeah.
And to explain what I mean by that, I have to tell you about the Republic of East Gorto. In the Chimera Ant arc, after the King of the Ants is born, they move to acquire a seat of power,
Oh, that's
and
so
thus
sick.
procure the estate of East Gorto's leader, Ming Jolik. The ants use propaganda and the image of Ming after killing him to subdue the population and trick them into obeying orders. If you hadn't made the parallels yourself when reading or watching Hunter x Hunter, this is an obvious reflection of dictator states like North Korea. This beautiful new world is full of interesting big cats,
Yeah,
and
pretty
tortoises,
obvious.
and English-speaking shapeshifters, but it's still full of humans who take advantage of people and kill for fun. By the end of the arc's resolution, King Meruem, his mother, and their subjects have killed well over 500,000 people. But Tagashi says, are we that different in our treatment to our kind? The greyest of panels that evoke this is in chapter 311, well over halfway
When
through the
someone
series,
stands on the
and
ants,
it
right?
takes place after the appropriate
Oh, yeah.
named
Okay.
nuke goes off. with 4 pages and 1 line of dialogue.
Oh, I love
Togashi
this.
just shows us scenes of his world.
Yep.
The rich dining on food, children made soldiers in a barren country, starving, amputated, and alone. Protests, excessive lavish lifestyles, this marriage of 2 worlds that all culminate
Togashi's
with the
him,
explosion
man.
of a
He's
nuclear
just
device
too
in the
good.
shape of a rose. A rose with poisoned thorns. That, in essence, is Hunter x Hunter's world. Beautiful to admire, but still with thorns.
If you touch
I
it,
think you
it'll
can't
prick you.
deny that Togashi was trying to represent parts of our world we might want to escape in our safe adventure shonen. It's still heartbreaking how what is happening now as I'm recording this video is still reflected in a chapter published in 2011. I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's not what I intend to show with
This guy
video,
knows.
nor the place to discuss in the
This
comments,
guy knows.
but still crucial. Because while Hunter x Hunter can fill the reader
This
with
guy
excitement and
knows.
joy of what adventure awaits them out there, it can also say that this world is full of people in it who abuse power, and there is no shonen way to defeat them like at the end of an arc. It's not as simple. To take this video somewhere a bit more hopeful and switch a bit towards beauty again, we need to talk about the characters and the duality
The best
within
bros.
each of them.
The best of bros.
Much of what makes Hunter x Hunter's characters so complex is their struggle to balance 2 sides of themselves. The duality of 2 characters can show how the same character can be a different person entirely that isn't the prettiest based on their choices or their circumstances. Before we get to the main examples like Gon and Killua, I want to examine a character shift that really surprised me. Netero, the chairman of the Hunters Association.
True.
Netero at first is shown as a small but important mentor character who has great skill. But a new side of him is shown in the arc of Chimera Ants. I'm sorry, I know there are other arcs, but all the best examples are here, so just bear with me. Seeing him again hundreds of chapters later, Netero finally shows his true desire as a hunter. He has always wanted to find true strength and enlightenment in combating with those who are also strong. This also contrasts why different hunters fight and what for. Hisoka wants strong opponents that he can kill as he sees them die in disbelief as combat is, in a ways, a dance or a sexual act to him. Netero at first is drawn as a small old man with a cool beard in a simplistic way, but when he learns of the strength Meruem may possess, his face is drawn with shadow and such detail it could have been a berserk apostle. Netero is no longer a old Yoda figure to the reader. Palm is another example, but the opposite. When first meeting her, she is cartoonishly creepy and scary. Her threat of killing Gon and the others slowly become more apparent as her representation on the page just becomes more real. Seeing her again after becoming an ant also shows us the overly detailed and realistic expressions of her rage, coupled with an overly cartoony violent tendency. After breaking away from the control of the ants, she is now drawn in a minimalistic way akin to Gon or Killua to showcase her new calm and emotionally mature state of mind. When fighting Meruem, Netero is not really portrayed as the hero or morally correct individual of the fight. He's in fact the one pushing for them to do battle as the nations of the world want the hunters to end the ants now. Even
best
though
scene in
Meruem
anime.
is the one seeking diplomatic resolution. Much of the art that portrays our characters when showing their duality of dark and light is drawn in a unique way rather than just
that's
simple or
crazy
detailed.
in the anime,
Netero,
in the
death,
manga.
His face is drawn to show his malice as a human being before detonating the nuke. It's distorted and almost childlike in its design, mocking Meruem. These kind of panels remind me of those haunting images kids draw of something adult in nature, but without knowing the context. You can see it with characters who want death, but being cute or anime-like when saying it. Or characters enraged and drawn with large pen strokes that are uneven and imperfect, but they accurately depict the emotion, even to a cartoonish, exaggerated level. While it may seem like just an artistic choice to evoke the shocking reality of something in a medium that is Japanese comics, I think it actually evokes themes.
Is that Final Fantasy X music?
I'm not referring to Togashi's unfinished panels due to his condition. One of the themes that is present in the story is loss of innocence. Particularly in Gon.
This guy knows.
Hunter in its own way is a coming-of-age story. Learning as you grow.
Best anime, and he's playing one of the best OSTs I've ever heard.
All of
This
the
guy
world
just gets
isn't what
it.
you thought, and with everything I've covered so far, I think that is quite apparent. As Gon and Killua progress as characters in almost the opposite ways to each other, the artwork begins to make more and more sense. The sensibilities of illustrating disturbing concepts with negative space, or doing it through the eyes of a child who is trying to process some kind of trauma as it slowly loses its innocence. Gon is that same child, naive and unaware that people kill for fun and will take advantage of you to possibly no consequences, the horror of the real world. Killua's progression of losing his innocence has already taken place before meeting him, being trained as an assassin at the age of 4. But as he begins to make friends like Gon and appreciates the joys of finally being a kid his age, he starts to see the potential beauty in all the people he meets, rejecting the
You reckon Gon and Killua are ever gonna fight?
Mindset of his family, beginning
I
to
hope
use
not.
his violence to protect those he loves, and even resorting to non-violent means against some opponents. Part of these beautiful panels are illustrated with light strokes to resonate that emotional feeling, whereas Gon spirals further into anger and revenge,
Oh, a little
chasing that
badass.
thoughtless desire, and thus his artwork is represented by that. Gon and Killua are not only two sides of themselves, but each are another side of the other. To go further, I know Togashi just called his series Hunter x Hunter because of the show Downtown, where they just repeat words for comedy, but let me have my curtains are blue for a reason real quick. Hunter x Hunter's title, two different hunters, and the title is reflected upside down like an opposite world. Dualities. This is the best metaphorical accident for a title I have ever seen. One of the other themes of Hunter x Hunter is desire. Every character in the series has one. Now I know what you're thinking, Mugen, that isn't uncommon in storytelling. Every character has something they want to get, and the story revolves around them getting it. But there is a difference between a want and a desire, at least in this story. Desires are our wants pushed to an even further level of obsession. I want to get stronger and powerful, versus I desire to be stronger and powerful. Gon as a character has an inherent desire to take the hunter exam and see his father. After Gon's success, we see so many others who also have their own desires to be hunters. But because this is a story of dualities, many of them are shallow. Money, revenge, and the access being a hunter can just give.
It's not
we
just
see why
money.
hunters act the way they do for good or bad. Leorio is a great character, and I would say a morally optimistic one. But he became a hunter to become a doctor because they get paid well. Jean in particular echoes the need for something he does not have, disregarding his own son as he is not what Jean cares and thinks about. He is his own Captain Ahab.
Based.
He places
No, I'm
his son
joking.
on an island that is a whale, and the ship that carries everyone to the Dark Continent is in the shape of the whale. Even Togashi himself has a desire, and I think the story of Hunter x Hunter almost even reflects his own personal journey while creating his series. Before this video, I didn't know that much about Yoshiro Togashi, except for his reputation of just being on hiatus a lot. I knew the crux of the issue was being run down or ill. Rarely do mangaka take a hiatus to brainstorm, as that is a luxury unknown to many. The horror stories of burnout were also not unknown to me. I'm a Berserk fan. I know the lore. But the thing that
Wait,
was
what happened with Berserk?
was learning how harsh his situation was. In 2022, news of Togashi's condition was revealed when thanking fans for an exhibition in his name. In it, he remarks in a light-hearted manner that he was unable to sit in his chair for 2 years due to lower back pain and his hips, a physical condition that could predate as far back as 2005 when he fell ill. Thus, couldn't do his job consistently. It got so bad, he had to use the shower to clean himself after going to the toilet. This illustration is what he used to imply how he draws now. Not perfect, but more comfortable for sure. Togashi is reported to be a perfectionist.
That
and
doesn't look
does not
good for
really
your
use
back.
assistant's help at all. Had his first child when Hunter x Hunter began publishing, and many more unknown reasons that I imagine plague him every day. He is his own Captain Ahab, a man who is struggling to finish this behemoth of a story he created over a decade ago. And I imagine he still has that passion for manga. He clearly loves the craft, the art, and the work of his peers, but now has scars and issues that have now emerged probably long before the days of Hunter x Hunter. working night and day for the magazine he
Go watch
loved.
a Yu Hakusho.
A month before
Amazing.
I started making this video, Togashi tweeted an image of a manga worksheet that, when translated, means start over. I won't try to glean what that specifically means, but Togashi is working again, and hopefully with less pain. But I imagine there is still some hesitance, and whatever he makes will be as beautiful and fulfilling as what we have read, but he is heading into those dark waters again. Waters full of pain and horror. He is heading towards his own dark continent. In the latest arc, our characters are heading on...
We'll leave it there. We will leave it there. I cannot wait to hear more about this arc. Great video. In my opinion, I hope he isn't too worried about ending his anime. And if he is working to make the manga, you know what I mean? If he is enjoying himself and he's healthy enough to be making his manga, then I hope he's just continuing to make it and isn't worried about ending it. Because even if it never ends, it doesn't really matter. It's such an amazing journey. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I hope he's just continuously just, again, this is all if he's healthy and enjoying himself and not burnt out and, you know, he's just loving, you know, making more Hunter x Hunter content or whatever he's doing. He might even be making a new manga if he's saying start over. Who knows? Yeah, I hope he's just kind of just continuing the world of Hunter x Hunter. It's just so good. In my opinion, if it never gets an ending, then I'd be absolutely fine with that. You want the arcs to have endings, but I don't really see how you end a show like Hunter x Hunter. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't really need it, in my opinion. Again, the arcs are nice to end, but, you know, if it just ends, it ends. I'd be absolutely fine with that, you know? Just Gon and Killua are just walking off and they're both, I don't know, got children and they're you know, they've both got wives. So I guess you could end it like that, but whatever, who knows? Great video, though. Absolutely love Hunter x Hunter, and I bloody miss this anime more than anything. Yeah. Yeah, see, now Neferpito's a villain, so with her saying such an amazing world, it would be a shame not to see it fully fleshed out. Like, we're talking about... I get it, but it's already an amazingly fleshed out world. Do you know what I mean? The anime already has a fantastic ending. Agreed. In my opinion, he should just, if he's just doing his thing, just continue to just do his, you know, just enjoy making arcs. That's what I would do. It sounds like he's doing this Dark Continent arc. That, if we remember back to the anime towards the end, we heard about them having the remaining ant bubble people or something. So maybe it's to do with them, and maybe Gyro's there. Gyro. Maybe this Dark Continent is where something comes from. Like, there's so many guesses. Like, there's so much. Like, maybe this Dark Continent is where the Chimera Ant Lady Girl Queen started at. I don't know. There's so many cool ideas there. Yeah, man, just he should just keep doing his thing, in my opinion. I hope he's really not worried about ending the anime and he's like pressured to end it, because I don't think that's what the fans care about. We just want to see more of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely love Hunter x Hunter. I bloody miss it. I really do. I might start reading the manga. I say that a lot. But it would be weird to just pick up the manga and start from volume, 27 or whatever, wherever the anime stops. Because that's where I'd start. I wouldn't buy the whole... I wouldn't start from the beginning. I don't know, maybe I would. Who knows? Either way, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time.